Hi guys, it's Carrie. So the gist of this video is that I really don't appreciate it when people ask a little too insistently when the next installment of some series I've made is coming out. And yes, I know that there's a spectrum and it can range from people just being curious and showing appreciation for previous installments of that series, in which case I probably will respond nicely, I'm going to return the favor, and it ranges from that all the way to people who are threatening to dox me or threatening to come to my house and do something if I don't do what they say. And obviously those two things will warrant different responses. Thing two I would say is that I recognize that I probably have already said my opinion on this before, and some of you might think that me saying this again is a little repetitive. And I'm sure that this video isn't really going to convince anyone, because if you're already on my side, compassionate and caring, you probably already know my opinion on this, and you'll show support and you'll continue to kind of just be nice. And if you're the person who disagrees with me and does continue to pester and ask for dates and all that, you're gonna keep doing that, and me lecturing you, that's not gonna change anything, because everything I'm saying is already kind of self-evident. So whatever. The third thing I wanted to point out is that I know almost all of you come to YouTube for entertainment purposes, as in, you come here to be uplifted and to be happy from an otherwise maybe dreary or not ideal real life. And I definitely realize that, and that's why I try to keep the number of negative videos I make to a minimum. It's true that all humans have negative emotions, but for the most part, I should try to keep that to myself and not rely on internet random people for support or understanding or therapy, because talking about negativity really just does spread more to negativity, and I don't want to do that. But to not end off, but what I want to accomplish with this video, despite everything I've said so far, is to, one, sort of explain why I dislike that sort of begging, you must tell me when the next episode comes out behavior, why I just don't like that very much. And two, try to look at this from an observer's perspective, as in, if I were just an outside observer, unaffiliated with the situation, and I noticed, hey, Carrie's feeling bad because of XYZ, maybe he's being a little too sensitive or whatever, but I want to help him out, here's what I'm observing in that universe, and here's how I can try to lend a helping hand or offer a solution. So first off, to sort of explain why it can get really annoying or demotivating, is because when you're a little kid and let's say some friends of your parents came to your house and surprised you with a birthday gift or something, and you receive that gift, maybe you're 7 or 8 years old, but that you're supposed to say thank you. So you want to show that you are a smart big boy, and so you open your mouth, you're about to say the words, and then your parents say, "Oh, Johnny, be a good boy and say thank you." Suddenly you don't want to do it anymore, right? I had the experience of just not wanting to say those words anymore, and I couldn't really put my finger on why, but the reason was because I didn't want to just be seen as a drone or a machine controlled by another person. I want to say, I'm going to say thank you because I, as an individual human, just know it's the right thing to do. I don't want to just be my parents' puppet that they just press the buttons and send the right orders and then I do it, right? And I think that when people demand a certain video enough, even if I enjoyed making that video on its own, it sort of makes me question, when I actually start working on the video, am I doing this because I like it, or am I doing it because enough people ask for it to the point that I'm scared that if I don't, they'll either unsubscribe or dislike all the stuff that I am making, or they will do the more scary things like the doxing and all that. And it does make me feel like I'm being ordered around, and these people who I have no relation with in the real world are sort of pointing towards where I should go, what I should do, what I should work on. And I'm like, no, I'm my own person, you're your own person. I'm not going to let you do that. And so it all, like, I don't know if this is what comes across as bratty, but it actually makes me want to work on that project less. So that's my explanation, and I guess as a continuation of that explanation, let me just disconnect from Minecraft here and show you like why this matters, or why I felt like I wanted to speak up on it now. Because you might just think like, oh, it's just text on a screen. You know, if you're really so sensitive, just log off. I feel like for me, you know, there are long periods where I'm just goofing off online, and to me, I think, you know, it's so awesome that the internet is just where people can post memes, goof off, you know, crap post, and just not worry about the standards of normal life. And like the Evil Leafy Maze game is an example of that, because it's like a short project that Michael made like 6-7 years ago, and it's kind of funny. And even the like BFDI wiki page acknowledges the funniness by saying, the whole point of this game is to keep moving forward and survive as long as you can. There is absolutely no escape. See, that's pretty funny, right? So like my guard is down, I'm just sort of like chilling in the BFDA wiki and reading. But then like, okay, this is not the most severe example, but like if I read to here, scrapped update, on February 3rd, 2020, Carrie Huang, and I'm like, wait, shoot, that's me. I didn't realize suddenly that I am being pulled into this discussion now. Made a tweet suggesting he was interested in adding audio in the game in an update in 2020. I actually don't remember this tweet. Like on Twitter, like people just say thoughts they've had, right? Like what did I actually say? Oh yeah, so like I guess this was in response to John Dubach, and he posted just a video of Evil Leafy in BFDI A2, and I said I was thinking of adding audio to the Evil Leafy Maze game in 2020 actually. Heavy breathing and boom noises, of course, and a 1% chance of Evil Leafy screech. So this is part of the observer solution coming up with part of the video I was thinking about, because here's what I'm thinking. When I say I was thinking of, you know, I'm just sort of like spitballing, just sort of brainstorming in my head. What are some things that I'm interested in, or some things I want to try? I don't want to commit to anything. You know, just like, you know, if you're in high school and you sort of like tell your friend like, hey, did you hear that like there's a new season of One Piece? I was thinking of watching it. It doesn't mean you're committed to it. But like, I guess it just comes with the territory as like a content creator or an internet person, that this is not just casual conversation. Even if I tried to word it that way by saying I was thinking of, it becomes an update that was scrapped. And like when I read this and I read, however, 2020 came and went and no update was ever published, it's likely that these plans were discarded or forgotten about. Okay, I guess that is like somewhat neutral, but it does come across as a bit like call outy. Like it's supposed to imply that the right thing for me to do is to not forget about it and actually do the update. And I think to me it's like, you know, maybe my guard was down, but now it's up. And now I can't read this article without thinking that my own personal character is sort of like being dragged into how this project goes. And so like for my Sunday stream coming up like 2 or 3 days from now, I was thinking of streaming myself playing the Evil Leafy Maze game, but now I don't know if I want to, because I'm worried that the stream comments will be filled with people asking for this update. And so when I was mentioning the outside observer solution, I think the issue, if I analyze this myself, was giving a date here, saying in 2020. I probably should just avoid doing that, and if there's nothing that I can commit to, I just shouldn't say it at all. Like, unless I can guarantee to someone that like, yes, I will have this video out by, you know, April 7th, 2021, and I can like be confident with myself that it will happen, I should just, you know, shut up and not say anything, because it could be construed as a promise that was, you know, I failed to deliver when that date actually comes. So, you know, I've had like cool ideas in my head of like, oh, I could, get back into game development, but shoot, I just said that out loud. People will start be asking like, where are those games? And it's like, if you are excited about something, just be quiet about it, because like, as soon as the product is out, then you can share it, and then people won't feel like you failed to deliver, So that's what I've just been thinking. Try to keep more of your thoughts internally. Don't spread excitement for something. And especially don't give dates. And yeah. So there's that. There are also quite a few websites that I just block because I know that there's, enough people on there who just say the most scathing things about me, like slurs. They write like multi-page essays, and I just, I don't want to get involved in the fray. Like, I know it's still just text on a screen, but like, I get the urge to argue with them or say like, it's not a fair portrayal of me because XYZ, but like, they're not interested in a logical, rational debate. They just want to like ruffle my feathers. So to get even involved at all is not helpful for me. So I just block those websites, and there's like 3 or 4 of those. But the last thing I wanted to say is, it's sort of mentioned in this notepad thing that I probably shouldn't be showing on the screen right now. But I didn't think that this was that big of a deal, because if you just were to calculate the percentages of nice people versus not nice people still win in the numbers, right? And like, I think that's good, because if I just focus on like what I'm doing in the present, not in the past or future, then more nice people show up in the streams and I don't have to worry. Well, here's the like main kicker I wanted to talk about in this video. I have a lot of projects from years and years ago that I'm still proud of, and I would still like to enjoy and reminisce about. Like songs or like music that I wrote in 2016, or like silly Carrie KH projects I did in 2017. And even though I know they don't pull in views from other people much anymore, they're still pulling in views from me, because like I sometimes just like to rewatch my old stuff. I don't know if that sounds arrogant or something, but I just like to relive sort of something that I really enjoyed back in the day. The issue is, because they're not really pulling in views from other people, the comment section is kind of frozen in time with like the time period of when that was uploaded. And so like, no matter what month you pick in time between 2012 and 2021, there was always some BFDI episode that was the most recent, and the next BFDI episode after that, which people were still waiting for. And the comment section is inevitably just filled with people who, at that time period, were asking for some episode that has now been produced, but is now long in the past. And I mean, I don't know if this comes across as sensitive or like whining about text on the screen again, but it's like, how it goes is I think to myself, I want to listen to this song I wrote 5 years ago. So I click on the YouTube link and it takes me to the page. I watch the video, but I inadvertently scroll down, and the comments remind me of something that I was sort of like shamed about not doing 5 years ago, but I have now done it, and then I don't really get praise for that since no one's on the video anymore. And I've thought to myself, like, what if a potential solution is to, I don't know, get my more recent fan base to watch that video again and just add supportive comments. And when I thought of the solution, I'm like, wow, that might actually work, because I think there's like enough people to sort of push out all the demanding comments. Oh, there's a zombie. But then I also thought to myself, like, that's being really whiny or yes men or sycophanty of me. It's like, I can't handle the heat in the kitchen, I need to get out. Or like, imagine being so sensitive that you need to force your fans to say nice things about you. Like, that just to me sounds like a recipe for disaster. So I don't know if I want to try that, but whether I do or not, it's still like, it still is the case that like, if I ask for sympathy in a recent video like this one, I'll probably have nice people in the comments, which, huge thank you to you for the most part. But the old videos never change, and like I cannot revisit them without like reminding myself that I have to keep my guard up. And I would like to be able to enjoy those old things again. So I guess let me know in the comments what you think of that idea. So the list of videos on the left, I made it like during, I think, some Carry KH video where I was trying to explain like how can you expect me to keep every series I've made to a regular schedule when there's like 25 of them, and none of the communities that are like obsessed about one series really give me credit for even working on the other one for a little bit. So of course some of them are going to go on hiatuses for years even, or might never come back at all, and that's okay. But I remember I posted a screenshot of that image in a video trying to explain that phenomenon, and people interpreted that as a list of things that I had committed to, and they said, look, I'll Go Decathlon is on that image. That means Carrie is promising that he will give us I'll Go Decathlon 2. And I think that me just saying that in this video is going to get clipped, and then people will interpret that. And I think that is frustrating, but like, how can I expect different when like most of the viewers are so young and don't know how to like interpret tone, or like, I don't know, seeing me as a human instead of as a content producing machine to crank harder. So I don't think anyone is to blame for that. And I also don't know if like there's really a way to solve that. I mean, I've tried to create channels where I'm like, I wish I could just sort of talk with people who do understand the tone I'm trying to convey. But then, like, if I give it enough time, like, the other fan bases who do post the demanding comments, who don't see anything wrong with doxing, who, like, kind of see YouTube as, like, a game to try to squeeze out every last drop of content from the people they want content from, they find it. Like, it just is a matter of time. Like, Carry KH was not supposed to be at all BFDI related, but I checked a couple days ago, and 14 of the top 15 videos that people watch, according to YouTube Analytics, after they watch a Carry KH video, are BFDI videos, which is fine. Like, that's totally awesome, but it helps explain to me why even on Carry KH, the comments are mostly filled with when is Teapot 2, or like, you know, give us BFB 30 or else I'm gonna do XYZ. Like, I understand it now, and I shouldn't be upset, or I shouldn't like be surprised. I just need to take that observer perspective and try to like figure out what the best solution is. And so yeah, the two solutions I've offered are you know, don't put a date in something you're speculating. If you just want to do it just for the fun of it, don't even say it. And two is you know, find out with commenters, like, is it too whiny or sensitive to ask new fans to go to old videos and try to switch up the comment section or not? And those are the two I've thought of so far. Maybe there's better ways. The other thing I wanted to reference is this video by CatYJ98, which came out in October 2012. Now, for context, BFDIA 3, the third episode of the second season, came out in August 2012, and BFDIA 4 came out in November 2012 after this video. So this video is supposed to be BFDIA trivia showing mistakes, like very small things wrong with episodes, and I'm totally cool with that. Like, I think it's fun to see, or, you know, CatYJ used to do it, and I think other channels are doing it more now. You know, watch them sort of like pick apart each episode and find cool quirks that I didn't quite notice. But I wanted you to look at this. Jack and Jellyfish's worst mistake ever. This is according to CatYJ in 2012. And this was the mistake. It just zooms into this date. Now, given the context I've told you about the dates, you probably know what the mistake was implying. It was that BFDI A3 came out in August and promised the next episode in September, and it didn't come out until November. And that was the mistake. And, like, I think this is still fine because it's done in a joking way, and it's done by a content creator who I respect, so I know that they also understand the struggle. But the thing I wanted to point out is that all the comments, or not all, there's quite a big number who don't understand why that's a mistake, like, Daryl Sray, putting the timestamp, and, what's the last mistake? I don't get it. 109, I don't get it. Well, that's 3 of them. I think this one might understand or not, but okay. I think 3 is enough to convey that, like, this is happening. But what I wanted to kind of talk about is the reason they don't get it is not at all their fault. They just weren't in the BFDI fandom at the time. They could be too young, or maybe they didn't discover BFDI until like 2017 or something. In which case, the entire struggle that people had waiting for BFDI A4 back in mid-2012 is just not even on their radar that even happened at all. But I think what this shows you is that every delay that happens on any internet show that I've ever worked on, anything on this list, as soon as the next episode comes out, that whole struggle is quickly forgotten. And like, even the people who experienced this, I'm sure you could ask them now, and then like, from the perspective of 2021, this was almost no big deal. Like, okay, we're in 2021 now, and try to remember something that happened in August 2012 versus November 2012. And in your head, you're probably almost thinking of the same thing. Like, those 2 dates nowadays almost seem indistinguishable, to the point that complaining that the episode was delayed between those 2 dates is not that big of a deal. Like, in the end, BFDI A4 came out along with 36 episodes after it, or some number like that. So every delay that happens now is going to end up in the same bucket as this one did, just given enough time. But I think it is just like frustrating that I think most of the viewers now are also extremely young, to the point that like they haven't had enough experience on YouTube to realize this phenomenon. So when they see that an episode is delayed for whatever reason, it's the biggest like scandal that they've encountered in their online life, and so they need to sort of like speak up about it, complain about it, boycott. I've seen the boycotts, so I know. And I think we have to ask ourselves, we have to take a step back. I know I shouldn't say we have to, because then people will accuse me of trying to mind control them or something, but what I would advise is look at a decade as a whole. So take the entire decade of the 2010s, and then ask yourself, how many animations would you expect a content creator to produce in a 10-year period? Like, what would satisfy you and what would dissatisfy you? Would 10 hours worth of content be enough, or 5, or 3? Most viewers have made 0, and that's okay. But what I want to like show you is that 10 is greater than 5, is greater than 3, is greater than 0. But if you make 10 hours of content and split that into like 60 videos, or even 200 videos, there's no way to spread 200 videos across a 10-year period without you having some gap that's longer than a month and a half or something. I'm trying to do the math really quick. A month. Or no, half a month. Okay, I should do the math more concretely. Okay, let's say you have 10 hours of content split across 119 videos or fewer. It is mathematically impossible to spread 119 videos across a 10-year period without there being a gap longer than a month. And the only way to get around that is to produce even more videos. So I guess what I'm trying to communicate is that like you gotta just look at the sum of everything and realize that life goes on, people grow up, And the fact that like it did continue at some point anyway is probably a better outcome than most things on the internet, because most things on the internet fizzle out so quick, and the longevity I think is more of a blessing than rapid pace episodes. You know, most things that were popular in 2010 are just not around anymore, like Fred, Ray William Johnson, or planking, or I don't know, is the Real Annoying Orange still around? Probably, actually, that one's an exception. But what I'm saying is like, things that produce content are much more in danger of fizzling out in the long term because it becomes like not popular, or the creators just aren't enthused about it, which is fine as well. That's a much higher risk than just episodes taking a long time to make, but they still continue eventually and the longevity is preserved. So that's just what I wish more people would recognize. And I know I can't mind control people, or I can't make them think the way I think. If they just disagree, then that's that. But you know, the internet is just a place where I can like discuss my thoughts, and you guys can discuss your thoughts. So like, I'm just saying how I feel, and there's really nothing wrong with that, I don't think. So yeah, and I also know that like, I don't know, I've said everything I've already wanted to say, so I'll probably just end the video. Thank you for, what's back here? What is this? Oh my god. Thank you for watching. I probably forgot or left out other aspects of this thought, and if I did, I'll leave them in the comments or something. Because, you know, if you do an unplanned ramble like this one, you're not going to cover every aspect of the topic that you wanted to. Maybe I should have written an outline, but sometimes these thoughts like get to my head and I want to talk about it more quickly than that. I don't want it to be an ordeal of like, did you order your paragraphs correctly? Did you know, use the right sentence structure to be the most persuasive? I'm just like, I don't want to think about that. I just want to say what's on my mind as a human. And if that doesn't convince people, then I guess like that's fine. Then we just don't see eye to eye as humans. Oh, I did not think this pink and orange structure through. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. This doesn't ever change, by the way. Like, you know, you might think, oh, in March 2021, Carrie doesn't like being pestered about when any one of these 25 shows is coming out. That means that if he doesn't talk about it in April or May, then he is okay with it. No, like, I haven't been okay with it since like 2011. And again, like, if you ask nicely, I'll respond nicely. But you know, very few people, I think, fully understand just kind of how many requests are asked and how demanding the worst ones can be. But yeah, like, this is a sentiment I'll probably have for the rest of my life. So even if I don't make any more videos about this topic, just know that like I still feel this way deep down, even if I don't tell you guys. Unless I like outwardly tell you guys I don't feel this way anymore. I don't think it's gonna happen, but you know what I mean. Okay, I'm gonna end this video now. Thanks for watching, bye.